It's like a boat.
Yeah.
You rather row a boat with 6 men than 1 man.
Yeah.
Because they'll help you. Well, that's true. It's such a big benefit, you know, having like friends on the same thing as you.
But 6 men who are rowing a boat.
Yeah, exactly. Not just standing there.
In the same direction.
Say that.
That was hard.
I feel you got that analogy.
I had my little cameo. You guys carry it.
No, that's hard. That's hard.
That's true.
Yeah, that's hard.
Wallah, it's
So there's
just
people
so
who
good.
there's people who are not active in your life, and there's people who are being in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
People who are not active in your life and are not helping you,
They're
bringing
just
you any
there.
benefit.
No
Are
benefit.
just there, they're not rowing. The people who are misleading you are rowing the wrong way,
Yeah,
and the people who are righteous and are with you.
Like,
they're helping
you
you.
got to take that responsibility and say, I'm captain now. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Back again, Student Sundays, with another episode with the brothers. Today, we'll be discussing companionship. And yeah, how do you guys feel about the topic? I think it's going to be an interesting
It's
one.
important.
Yeah.
Very important. So yeah, the first question is, what is companionship? So Asad.
So a companion is someone who accompanies you. It's in the word. Someone who accompanies you, you talk with, you interact with, and you spend your time with. And Sheikh Bakr Abu Zayd, he says that there are 3 types of friends. One he's a friend with you for a benefit, for a pleasure, or for a virtue. So the first two, so a benefit or a pleasure, when that thing runs out, when the benefit runs out, for example, they're only friends with you because you give them money or something like that. Once that runs out, once they don't need your money anymore, they won't be your friend. Or for pleasure, they only go with you to spend, like, just waste time or whatever. Once the need for pleasure runs out, they won't be friends with you. But a friend for a virtue is someone who's friends with you because they know you're a righteous person. They will bring you closer to Allah, and that's the friend that you need. And Sheikh Bakr Hussein mentions that it's like a hard currency. It's rare to find these type of friends. So yeah, so I think Sheikh Bakr Hussein puts it nicely that there's 3 types, and you shouldn't be the first two. You should be friends with people for a virtue, for getting close to Allah, basically. Yeah,
That's well put. Anyone else want to add anything?
Allahumma barik. Allahumma barik. I was going to add on the famous hadith. Prophet ﷺ said, "Al-mar'u ala din khalilihi falyanzur ahadukum man yukhalil." The person is upon the religion of his friend, his close companion. So look who you take as your close companion. And I think we mentioned this in the first episode, didn't it? Like, if you just you're in the same gathering as someone, or you're always with someone, you pick up these little things that they say, innit? Like, if they always say, I can't lie, or if they always say, like that, you pick it up, innit?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the hadith in action, innit? As you can see it. But yeah, and also the hadith mentioned the word khalilihi, and that's someone that you're very close to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it's like, I think it's like the highest level of friendship. I think.
Yeah.
I think that word used is like
Khalil.
Khalil.
Yeah. So like, look on your phone. Yeah, I got this from someone else. They said, look at your phone, and then whoever you talk to the most, whoever's like always on your recents, that's your
That's true.
Khalil, basically.
100%.
yeah. And I think it's important that you choose your closest friends. You need to look at them and say, are these people who are benefiting me? As in, are they bringing me closer to Allah? For example, are they righteous people? Are they good people? Are they people who fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? That's how you determine who's a good friend and who's not a good friend, basically. Yeah.
Allah mentions in the Quran, الأخلاء يومئذ بعضهم لبعض عدو إلا المتقين. So the close friends will be enemies that day, except for who?
Righteous.
The muttaqin.
Pious.
Those people that تعاون على البر والتقوى, that aid you towards good piety and righteousness. Those are the only people that won't be your enemies on Yawm al-Qiyamah.
Yeah.
Do you want to add anything?
Should
we move on?
To what?
No, you have to add.
I think that, humans
Don't
are like,
look at my phone.
so human beings like they're sociable people, innit? So
Yeah.
obviously we weren't created to be like monks, living up in the mountains on our ones. We weren't created for that. We were created to be part of a community and establish, communities. Isn't it? So there's also a famous and well-known hadith where the Prophet ﷺ, he compares the good companion to a bad companion, like that of a masala and a blacksmith. So the moral or the one of the faida that we can take from that hadith is that your companion will basically rub off you, kind of thing. Like as in, for example, if you enter a blacksmith, you'll come out with like, you know, dusty clothes. Yeah. But if you could go into like a mosque or a perfume shop or whatever, you'll come out smelling nice fragrances, you know, all of that.
Regardless, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Regardless of whether you actually purchase one or you take one, or regardless of whether you actually work, like in that blacksmith, for example, kind of thing. Yeah. So your friends definitely rub off you, and yeah.
Another thing, well, I think it's an Arab saying, I'm not sure, but they say as-sahib wa sahib.
The friend leads you to something.
Yeah, the friend is the one that he takes you places, he drags you places. So if he says something, you're most likely to follow him.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So imagine your friends, your sahib, someone that's always dragging you to the masjid to lessons and that. Wallah, hold on to that person. Because as Asad mentioned, the last thing that Sheikh Abu Bakr Abu Zayd said about people that are friends for the sake of virtue, innit?
Yeah.
So this friend is always invited to the masjid, always telling you about classes and stuff like that. Hold on to him, innit? Because as Asad said again, he said it's like a rare currency. So can't forsake this blessing that you have in it. Someone that's always talking about masjid, lessons, stuff like that. But yeah, that's about it.
Okay. So we kind of touched upon it, I can't lie. The importance of having a good friend or a good companion. So yeah. No one wants to add anything else?
It's too important, man. I don't think we'll stress it that much.
Let's stress it that much then.
I think Sufyan al-Thawri rahimahullah, he said that no one rectifies or corrupts someone more than someone's friend. So like you said, like people's actions, they rub off on you, their characteristics, their personality, their mannerisms, all of that, it rubs off on you. For example, say you have a group of friends, all of them are, for example, hang around in like a shisha cafe or something like that. Where are you going to be? You're going to be with them because they're your friends, do you know what I mean? But if all of your friends are in the masjid or they're in durus and stuff like that, where are you going to be? Do you know what I mean? So like, so if you have friends that are doing a certain thing and they're all doing that thing, then you're going to join, you're going to be like that. But say you're the only one who's not doing that, then you're more likely to join them, do you know what I'm saying? So like, so they'll either rectify you, they'll fix you, they'll advise you, they'll guide you, or they'll mislead you. Allah says in the Quran, وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. So by the time mankind's in loss, except for those who do righteous actions and guide each other to patience and guide each other to the truth. So people were like, it's telling us to advise our friends and guide our friends and, you know, guide each other to the right path and to good actions.
Well, it's so important, you know. Like, so many people that I've seen, subhanAllah, you know how at a young age you're able to like show the right way for the child. For example, say you're a parent and you got a child, you're able to like push him to do things in it because he won't be you know what I mean, he won't rebel that much. If he's young, you can like tell him to do stuff. But once he reaches puberty, he meets new people, makes friends, stuff like that.
Can all go.
Yeah, it can all go away just by friends. Wallah, subhanAllah, I've seen a few people, subhanAllah, may Allah bring them back. But at a young age, they memorize the Quran at 10 years old, 11 years old. And then later down the line, 5 years later, they start going to college, stuff like that, meeting these people. And then subhanAllah, sadly, they're on the wrong path in it. But inshallah, they'll come back in it. Because one of the benefits of a young age, memorizing the Quran or learning the deen, is that later on, when you make tawbah, it'll be easier for you to come back. Because at least you had the foundation once upon a time. So yeah, so that's, you deep in it. Like someone memorizes the Quran at a young age, and then all of it just goes out the window because of bad friends. Countless examples, bro.
That shows how deep it is.
Yeah.
About having bad companions.
Yeah, I think it's unanimously agreed upon. Like, I know these motivational speakers are like, show me your friends and I'll show you where you are in 10 years time or something.
Exactly.
They all agree upon that. Like you are who you hang around with, kind of thing.
Exactly.
Like, it's unanimously agreed upon. No one disputes that kind of thing. So
yeah,
I think that's very important to acknowledge and, you know, affirm.
You know that saying, your network is your net worth.
100%.
You know about that, what businessmen say. They say people around you, that's your net worth. So if I want to know about you, I look at your friends. Well, not exactly everything about you, but if I want to know like a broad thing about you, I'll just look at your friends. That's like Sheikh Muhammad ibn Sirin, rahimahullah, he said, Indeed, this knowledge is your deen. So look who you take your deen from. And as you know, your friends, they might be on some other deen, whether that's following their desires or whatever. So if you're always chilling with them and you're always trying to follow their deen or their way of life, you have to be careful in it, because this is your akhirah, bro. So if your friends are like not focused on the akhirah, then just get rid of them.
Sorry.
I think when people are like, people going on their own little journey of like, you know, like getting back to the religion, finding Allah again, stuff like that, they tend to move away from their old friends as well. And like, when your whole like mindset and all that changes, the people you hang around with, you're like, oh, like, I don't really see them as my like close friends anymore. Do you know what I mean? So then, even as your mentality changes, your idea of a good friend changes as well. So obviously, like, there are traits in that people have, like, even people who are doing like madness stuff there, like, you know, if they can be trustworthy and stuff like that. But if they're not, you know, practicing their religion properly, then like that's gonna affect you whether you think it will, whether you think it will or not. Do you know what I mean? Like, it will affect you, will have a definite effect on you. And people are caught in this like mindset that, oh, no, like, it's not going to affect me, I'm different and stuff like that. But it definitely affects you. Like, a lot of times, yeah, for example, people have like they have different sets of friends. So one friends that they go to the masjid where they pray with and stuff like that. Other ones they had from school or whatever. And when they chill with their friends from school, they're like, you know, they're speaking foully and stuff like that. But when they're with their friends from the masjid, they're not speaking like that. You know what I'm saying? So when they're with the other friends, you can tell they change, you know what I'm saying? So don't be foolish and think that, no, they're not going to change me. Like, I'm going to be fine. I'll change them instead. More often than not, if there's so many of your other friends like that, and you only one person that's, you know, trying to change them, it won't work most of the time. So you need to assess your situation and think what's good for you. At the end of the day, you need to benefit yourself. You need to save yourself from the hellfire. So like, don't try and save other people while you're falling over yourself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no. Just going on from that, like we mentioned in the first episode as well, Abdullah was saying, like, you know, sometimes seeking knowledge can be a lonely path. And I think a lot of people, even if it's not like consciously, and even if it's subconsciously, like, a lot of the times or reasons why people still hang around with certain people is because they don't want to feel left out, kind of thing, or they don't want to be on their ones, or, you know, they don't want to be like by themselves, kind of thing. But by the end of the day, like Abdullah, he said, you know, the path of Islam Islam came as a strange thing, and it will return as strange. Going back to that hadith in it, so
yeah, also it's better. Sorry.
Yeah, no, go on.
I was gonna say it's better to be alone than to be with bad people who influence you negatively.
100%.
Yeah.
And don't be scared about it as well. Because some people, they're like, oh, I don't want to be alone, so I might as well just chill with the bad people. But then
you try to kind of fit in, even if subconsciously.
Yeah.
A lot of things, like, because now I've stepped back and I've assessed like certain stuff in it. When you're younger, innit, like, you don't really clock in it, but when you step back and you're like, oh, that was subconscious. I was subconsciously doing this kind of thing. Yeah. And then you're like, yeah, I understand it now. But yeah, even
the scholars, they advise that Ibn Jawzi said that let the lives of the Salaf and the companions be your let the lives of the Salaf be your companions.
Yeah.
So like, and even Ibn Mubarak rahimahullah, he said that, how can I be alone when I'm with the Prophet and his companion, and like they're reading hadith and they're reading the books of these people. Yeah. So you can't be alone, you know. It's like you're with them, like you're sitting with them and they're talking to you. You know what I mean? So like, don't be disheartened that if you're alone and stuff like that. But even then, it's if you have righteous friends and they're good people and they guide you and they advise you, that's so like beneficial. Like I said before, it's so rare to find. Yeah. So if you find it, then you need to hold on to that. And it's a big blessing. And like, for example, like being here at Medina College, yeah, like with you brothers, I wouldn't have known you, man, if I wasn't at Medina College. So Islam, that's like, you know, brings us together.
Yeah,
like
100%.
Like, so being in environments like this, like, really helps you with your iman as well. You're with like-minded people who want to get closer to Allah. Like, these are the type of people you want to be around.
Yeah,
because
if I'm being absolutely real, innit, like, if the people you're hanging around with, like, are not, like, you don't see them at the masjid, innit, like, generally speaking, they're the wrong friends. Generally speaking, innit? Generally speaking, I can't make it broad enough, but
That goes on to our next point. Where do you find good companions? You kind of touched upon it, innit?
Yeah, at the masjid. Just turn
Best
up at the
place,
masjid, turn up at the Durus.
Calm down. Not any masjid.
Huh?
What do you mean?
Oh, not any masjid.
Yeah.
Oh, because
okay.
some masajid, they're like,
Okay.
there's hardly any youth
Okay,
there,
but
innit?
like, even like when you're praying salawat though, Like, let's say it's your local masjid.
I can't like durus is more beneficial. Because I can't like I've been going to some masajid for so long, but I haven't met anyone like that because no one's trying to meet you. And that. But durus is good.
Even at the masjid, some people keep themselves, but if you go to durus and stuff like that,
You go to masajid.
Yeah, because you have something big in common. You're learning, you're both seeking knowledge.
Yeah.
and you like, for example, if you go to classes, like you're gonna have to speak to your classmates, ask them, have you done that? Do you have your notes and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Testing each other, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of the like scholars, they used to recite to each other and they correct each other's mistakes and they memorize mutun together. I think it was Sheikh Thamin and another scholar, I can't remember who, but they used to revise mutun together. They used to read it to each other, or they do murajiat together. That's how you build close friends. And these people, obviously, they're like-minded people. They want the same thing that you do. They're on the same journey as you, so they'll aid you, they'll push you more towards that, and they'll motivate you as well. Like, for example, your friends like, yo, have you memorized this much for the lesson? They say, oh no, I haven't, but I should. Thank you for reminding me. That kind of thing, do you know what I mean? So they'll guide you like in Surah Al-Asr.
It's like a boat.
Yeah.
You'd rather row a boat with 6 men than 1 man.
Because they'll help you. Well, that's true. It's such a big benefit, having like friends on the same thing as you.
But 6 men who are rowing a boat.
Yeah, exactly. Not just standing there.
In the same direction.
Oh, say that.
That was hard.
I feel you got that analogy.
I had my little cameo. You guys carry it.
Nah, that's hard.
That's true.
Yeah, that's hard.
Well,
So there's people who are not active in your life, and there's people who are being in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
People are not active in your life and are not helping you,
They're
bringing
just
you any
there.
benefit.
No
You're
benefit.
just there, they're not rowing. There are people who are misleading you or rowing the wrong way,
Yeah,
and the people who are righteous and are with you.
they're helping you.
You gotta take that responsibility and say, I'm captain now. Kick off. What, bro? I mean, and kick off. Everyone's rowing the other way. Kick it back, mate.
That was creativity.
I'm captain now. You have to take that responsibility before you get.
Someone timestamped that. I'm captain now. Someone timestamped that.
Yeah, no, we will stop.
You know.
I think it's important as well that you yourself are a good friend as well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're someone who fears Allah, you keep your word, you don't backbite, you advise people, and you can take advice as well. I think that's a big thing, advising and being able to take advice. Cause
No, I feel like that's a very important topic. Knowing how to be a good friend.
yeah,
Can you see when you do become someone that's trying to start practicing whatnot, and you come from an environment of bad friends or not, you wouldn't know how to be a good friend. So
something.
I had to learn that, man.
you have to
Like,
learn to
Some things will run with your old friends, but won't run with other people.
Yeah. You wouldn't think it's wrong, but
Once you
because
do,
you're
yeah.
so accustomed.
Because you don't know, like,
You were so accustomed to this, like it
You're
was normal
ignorant
for
to
you.
that.
even the jokes that you bust, like it's different when you meet good friends.
Yeah.
So now tell me then, how do you develop this being?
I think it's just learning about adab and etiquettes. You know what I'm saying?
How
Like
do you learn that?
books and from scholars as well.
learn
No,
From
from
teachers.
lessons, man.
From teachers.
From teachers.
Yeah.
Sitting with just teachers, that you can learn so much about how the adab and the etiquettes. Even with sitting with, like, for example, 2 teachers who are friends, for example, and they see how they interact with each other, how they speak to each other. That's a good indication as well.
Yeah.
And there's a thing, one of Imam Ahmed's students, he sat with Imam Ahmed for 12 years, listening to him read hadith to his children. He didn't write a single hadith down for 12 years. All he was doing was watching how he was with his children, his etiquettes and his adab and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The whole 12 years.
SubhanAllah.
That's how important it is, do you know what I mean? And there's a statement from one of the Salaf, I think Ibn al-Mubarak, rahimahullah, he said, you are more in need of good manners than you are of knowledge.
Knowledge, yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
So like, and that encompasses how to be a good friend. You know what I'm saying? You're someone who has manners and etiquette. You're open and you're warm with people. You know what I'm saying? You're not grumpy and stingy and you're like people don't like being with you because you're you're a waste man basically.
Yeah, you're always
You have
trying
to
to push
be
them
a
off.
good person. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
it's true. Yo, well, it's true. See someone's trying to practice, and they're trying to meet.
I said,
They're trying to meet new people, and then they're just getting pushed away. Like,
Your tongue is sharp and you're like you don't smile and
Yeah,
stuff
so-
like that. You're just a miserly person. Yeah.
So going from that, there was like a powerful statement from Ibn Qayyim, yeah. Because a lot of people feel like, I know more than you, better Muslim, whatever, kibr and all of that.
Yeah.
But there's a statement by Ibn Qayyim. He said that manners in itself is a religion. Whoever surpasses you in manners has surpassed you.
religion.
I was just gonna say that.
There's no.
you know what I was-
how clear can you get,
Bro,
How clear?
I was
can you
waiting
get?
for Asa to finish just to mention that.
Man's hijacking that. You know what I'm saying?
Because you remember when you mentioned 12 years of Adam, and that came to my head. I
But
think you
it's
told me.
true, bro.
Yeah, it's true, fam.
It's true, fam.
So that's what makes us Muslim, innit? Like
Yeah.
our adab and how we carry ourselves.
Yeah.
The Prophet was sent to you. Perfect manners, was he not?
Exactly. So
Ah,
that's the- yeah.
Right.
Wallah, you learn a lot just from looking at people in lesson. Yeah, from observation.
We was talking about today, like
Huh.
the adab in lesson. You saw another talib do something.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like small things like
Allah,
this.
yeah, they might not even notice as well.
Yeah.
So even Imam Malik, when his mother sent him to go,
Yeah, to study. Yeah.
Just
he didn't say
First,
first
study manners.
study the manners, bro.
Yeah.
Sahih.
You got a lot of the ulama, they teach books on adab first before they get into the actual ilm. Because even the adab of a talib al-ilm, there's etiquettes to it, you know what I'm saying? There's manners, and a lot of it, like, they overlap, you know what I'm saying? Like, so the way you are with your friends, that's how you should be. Like, that's just your character, and that's how people know you by. You know what I mean? Like, okay, yeah, he's a nice person, I want to be his friend, for example. Do you know what I mean? He smiles at us, he's kind to us, you know, he treats us, you know, he doesn't backbite, he doesn't joke like, he doesn't lie and stuff like that. That's what being a good friend is, and being there for people. Like if your friend's in trouble or something like that, you'll be there for them. You know what I mean? Like,
it's the hadith. من كان في إن الله في عون عبده كما العبد في عون
من أخيه. No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Always someone that's helping your brother. You know, wherever he's in, you know, a difficult situation or stuff like that. Allah will help you as long as you help him.
Mhm.
So even if like your more the stuff that's happening in your life is difficult, say you help your brother, that is a way to get Allah to help you.
That's Jamil. That's Jamil.
even though the hadith of the Prophet is none of you truly believes until you love for your brother what you love for yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah, like,
Everyone's reading my mind today. I was going to say that.
and also a good way to see how the Prophet was with his Sahaba. You know, obviously there's close friends. Like he said about Abu Bakr, radiallahu anhu, if I was to take a Khalil, I would take Abu Bakr as my Khalil, but the brother in Islam is better. So like how he was with his companions, how kind he was to them, you know, they used to, like, you know, joke around with them, he used to, like, tell them stories and stuff like that. And they loved him, you know, they loved the Prophet so much. Because part of it, because he was a good person, as in, obviously, like, he was a good friend to them. Like, even like you should treat your friends like because they are your brothers. Indeed, the believers are brothers, you know, brothers in Islam. So you should treat them as such, treat them as like they're like your blood, basically.
Yeah, man.
Where would you find these good friends? Good places, inshallah.
Yeah, you're not gonna find them in shisha cafes, on the club or not, bro.
You're not gonna find them at motives.
It's true, man. Wallah, there's a lot of benefit of companions, man. Good companions. And people might think, I'm too shy, or I'm too this, I'm too that. I don't know where to find them. I went to the masjid, I can't find them, all that stuff like that. But just remember this ayah in the Quran. Allah says, إِن يَعْلَمِ اللَّهُ فِي قُلُوبِكُمْ خَيْرًا يُؤْتِكُمْ خَيْرًا. If Allah sees goodness in your heart, He'll give you goodness. He'll give it to you. So like, just don't give up in it.
It's not hard though, innit? You just need to go to a good place, and then
Sometimes it's hard though.
Yeah, sometimes.
Depends.
Imagine you've been living like this for a certain type of way for so many years, yeah.
The whole.
Yeah, and it's like,
I know for me, bro, I didn't know anything, bro.
yeah,
You don't even know where to start. Like,
yeah. Even when I started, I didn't know how to like talk to Tulab al-ilm.
yeah,
Like,
100%.
I don't know.
But you learn that by
they're
being around
interactive
them.
though.
Yeah, I just look
Yeah,
at
and
how
they're
you're.
open because they're good people, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
They're good
exactly.
friends, they're open, they're kind.
Do you know when you experience that for the first time, bro? It makes
what
you
the hell?
start like,
You're
what
sure.
the hell?
Yeah.
This got me fake, or
Yeah.
and then over time you realize this is
Bro,
the actual,
how
like,
you're meant to be.
yeah,
That's exactly.
this is the actual traits of.
And also, I was gonna say as well,
Friends,
to befriend people who are people of knowledge and like being people above you. I think Uthman ibn Hakim, rahimahullah, he said that befriend the one who is above you in your deen and below you in the worldly life, in the dunya. So people who are above you in the deen, you're going to benefit from them. Do you know what I mean? Like, for example, if you accompany the scholars, you accompany the people of knowledge, imagine the amount of benefit you will just by being with them. You know, you're going to benefit from them, like the perfume seller. You know what I'm saying? It will rub off on you, their manners, their etiquette, stuff like that. And if they're lower than you in your worldly life, you know, like, it shows that they're humble and stuff like that, and like they don't really care about that kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? So
Also, like, you'll see, like, so obviously if you look up to people who have more than you, you'll want that kind of thing. And if you look,
Yeah,
it's like,
it's like a motivation.
Yeah.
as well.
yeah.
it's like you should be content with what you have, kind of thing.
Yeah, but you should want to be where they are in terms of their deen.
Yeah, no,
In terms of so being like, that will rub off on you 100%.
Yeah.
If you're accompanying people who are higher than you, and your deen, that will rub off on you, and that will raise you as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just deep in it. I can't think of anything bad that can come from good companions, apart from one thing, that's like spending too much time with them, where you miss out your fara'id and stuff like that. You miss out your obligations. But I can't think of anything else that's bad about it.
But even then, if a righteous companion, he'll remind you, you know.
Yeah, you need to pray.
Go pray.
I was just thinking the whole time, like, what bad can come from it?
And a lot of people, like, for example, they're with their friends, yeah, who don't even pray. So the whole day goes, they spend the whole day with them. They miss all of their prayers, not a single one. But the righteous companion, he will take you to the masjid. He will pray with you. Say, yo, we need to pray. It's Asr time. It's Maghrib time. We need to go pray. Those type of people you need to be around who remind you, like, you know, to do righteous things. Or even when they see you acting up, they will tell you, you know, what you're doing. Fear Allah.
Calm down, Jamal.
But that's the thing. Even that works both ways. For example, so you need a friend who's willing to. Yeah, so it works both ways. So you need a friend who's willing to advise you, first of all.
Yeah.
Someone who's not scared to advise you. And you yourself need to be able to take advice. I think that's a big thing as well. A lot of people, when they advise, they get like, you know, like, oh, like, focus on yourself. Like they get hurt, you know, it hurts them emotionally and it hurts their ego. Don't be that person. You know, if someone advises you, it's because they want khair for you. You want to be around people who want to advise you because they want good for you. You know what I'm saying? They care about you.
What was that?
People who doesn't advise you, they don't care about you.
I know about to say, Umar ibn al-Khattab. When they said,
let him say his own first.
I say that.
Oh, you talking about judgment by what's apparent?
No, do you think?
I was talking about, I was saying about Ibn Rajab, rahimahullah. He said, like, if everyone was to be perfect to remind someone else, like, no one would remind each other, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah. What was you going to say?
I was going to say Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu anhu, he said something about, may Allah have mercy upon the person who gives me my mistakes or advises me.
Because imagine no one's telling you about your mistakes, so you'll do it the whole time. No one's telling you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you need to be told that. And if you have kibr and you have like arrogance in your heart, then you're just going to be like, bro, focus on yourself. Don't, only God can judge me. That kind of nonsense. That don't judge me. That nonsense. But
nonsense. Sorry, bro. Fam, you know how many times I see that on socials?
No, it's a big thing, bro. They get offended when they're advised.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't be like that. Like,
so judge by what's apparent.
Now I feel like a lot of people, they think about that don't judge me thing. Yeah, it's because sometimes people, they advise, but they violate as well. Like they insult them. Like they call them, you little fool, you little this.
There's a book by Ibn Rajab, the difference between advising and shaming.
Yeah.
That's a very good book for someone
Is
to
that
read.
the actual title of the book?
Yeah, it's in English. Yeah.
That's Jamil.
It's like a yellow cover. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a whole collection of those books.
Yeah. It's part of that. Yeah, difference between advising and shaming by Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali, rahimahullah ta'ala.
You know, when
It's actually so important to know how to advise people. Yeah.
When you think about it, everything's there, fam. Like, I don't know, man. I just feel like everything's there. Like, really, look too far, fam. Like, I don't know, fam. Like, people, I don't know.
It seems obvious.
I'm saying, how can you have mutashabihat? That's what I'm saying, fam. Like, you can't have mutashabihat, fam. Everything's there.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying, innit?
It just depends on you now, innit?
Yeah.
I think I was going to mention one thing about I think Ibn Taymiyyah mentioned this, innit? He said that when it comes to advising, there's three things that you need to pay, take into account. There's number one, you need to advise based on knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
You can't advise someone they're actually not doing it, or they're actually doing it. And number two is justice. You have to be just. You can't go overboard and say, oh, you can't do this, that. You have to be just. And number three, this one, a lot of people miss this one. Last one is mercy. Advise with mercy, bro. You can't advise someone and he's harsh.
Yeah.
Sometimes it depends on the person as well.
Yeah, sometimes sometimes you need harshness in it. Sometimes soft. You get it?
Yeah, 100%.
But like these three things is so vital, man.
But
if you miss one of them,
if you know someone's not going to take it well, that you're going to be bare harsh on them, he's like, oh, you did. Then be kind, you know, like make dua for them, may Allah guide us and like, have mercy on you, stuff like that.
Yeah.
What you're doing is not right, you know, like inshallah, like try and rectify yourself or do it slowly, you know what I'm saying? But don't be that person who shies away from it completely, and don't be the person who pushes them so hard that they move away, or they stop being your friend. You have to be kind to them, you know, be gentle and stuff like that. That's the adab of a believer. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, you know what? Sometimes even advising them might not be the wisest thing to do. Sometimes indirectly doing something. Because if you know that they won't listen to you if you advise them, or they'll do something even worse, then sometimes not advising them is the best move to do, and do it indirectly somehow. If that makes sense. And that comes from wisdom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I think another point here is good to have husn adhan of your Muslim brothers.
Yeah.
So even if like you see them like acting mad, like or something's like not clear of what they're doing, for example, try and think the best of them. Don't automatically jump to the worst that are like, you know, like try and think the best of them. Maybe make an excuse, make excuses for them.
One time.
So for example, say you're in the masjid and everyone's praying and he's not praying, for example. just say, think maybe he's already prayed. Maybe he prayed at another masjid and just came here. For example, think like that. And don't automatically, oh, you're not praying, you're a Kafir. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're just like some mad extreme.
No, it's true. Sometimes people learn the hard way, Because I remember one time I saw someone who finished praying Maghrib in it, and he was a talib as well, and then he didn't pray his sunnah for Maghrib. So I was thinking, why is this guy not praying sunnah? I was like, this guy okay? I was in my head, innit? But then after a bit, I realized a few days later that you should pray your sunnah at home. And I was like, oh, subhanAllah. I was like, okay. And I was like, why do you have to pray at home? And it's to hide your deeds. I was like, rah. So I was thinking bad about this guy.
What you're saying, it links back to knowledge as well.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people are ignorant. And
Yeah. That's why you shouldn't.
I didn't say his point, like, advising, the manner that you're advising. When Allah sent Musa to Fir'aun, what do you say? فقال له
قولا لينا
يتذكر أو يخشى سبحان الله. قولا لينا, a soft word to Fir'aun. Fir'aun is,
the worst, bro. What's the worst?
So say to him a soft word. So if, he's been told to say that to Fir'aun, like,
you're Muslim.
Yeah,
Muslim, brother.
Yeah.
But yeah, man,
That was a long episode, innit?
it's a long episode still. But yeah, we'll wrap it up there.
Inshallah.
سبحانك اللهم بحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Wa alaikum salam.